Milburn, joined by my guy Frankie A, our producer Christina Marie. We're coming to you Saturday, January 3rd. The Seton Hall women went up to UConn and dropped not going to say a tight game, but they covered the spread for whatever it's worth. Not that we gamble, but 84-48. And let me just talk about, before we get into the game, about UConn. UConn has been dominant. Okay, they have the longest winning streak in women's college basketball, 111 games. Okay, right now they have a 31 game winning streak, which is probably like fourth or fifth in their history. Since they came back to the Big East in 2020, the first year they came back, they were 18-0, won the Big East championship, so that's 3 more wins. Next year, 16-1, won the Big East championship, 3 more wins. 2022, 18-2, down year for them, 3 more wins, won the Big East championship. 2023, 18-0, 3 more wins, won the Big East championship. Last year, national champions. 2024, 18-0, 3 more wins, won the Big East championship. This year, 6-0. I mean, they're just in a, I mean, like that movie, A League of Their Own. They're just like in a conference of their own. They've won 31 straight games. That's their current winning streak. And they've won 53 straight conference games. They've had, since they've come back, they've lost 3 times in the Big East to Villanova, St. John's, and Marquette, not to us. So yeah, they're just on another level. We played hard today. We didn't give up. We fought till the end. Coach Jada didn't start today. Jada didn't play. I know she's been bothered by a really bad ankle. The announcers on TV said she was a little under the weather. So he put Shea in at point guard. And, Shea's a good backup point guard. But then he started Jordana instead of Messiah. Jordana shot 5 for 12 and ended up with, 5 for 12 and ended up with 12 points. Frank, your thoughts on the game today? When we were in the green room, you were making some pretty interesting comments.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough to play without Jada. The more ball handlers you have, the better. But they're a team that's going to force a lot of turnovers no matter what. I mean, they have suffocating defense, and it's relentless too. They just don't stop. They're tall, they're quick. It's hard to see over them, get the ball inbound. So it's very difficult, and just hanging in there with them. I think the score was 11-11, a little bit more than 8 minutes in, and then they went on, I believe, an 8-0 run to close out the the first quarter. But that's all you could really ask for against a team like that. With the first time of the year playing them as well, down a man. I was excited, but then I had a feeling that run was coming, and it's really hard to come back against that team. I like the way Seton Hall finished and didn't give up too. They the last 4 or 5 minutes was nice to see. UConn, everybody that they throw in could play. Most of that second team that comes in off the bench could start on probably every other Big East team or every other team in the Big East. Additionally, they I don't know, they could hit from the outside. They're strong on the inside. They hit the mid-range jumper. There's really no weaknesses there, but they get it going on that defensive end when they have trouble shooting from the outside at times.
Yeah, like all really good teams, they rely on defense first. They They held us to 18 points in the first half. Now, on your point, didn't give up. We actually won the fourth quarter for what it's worth, 22-17. You look at them, and yet you have Sarah Strong, who played great in the national championship game last year, 18 points. AZ Fudd, who's in contention for the National Player of the Year, 16 points in 25 minutes. Sarah Strong only played 25 minutes, and that was her top starters minutes. You had off the bench in 17 minutes, highly recruited Ali Zeibel, had 12 points. They're just, going back to what Coach Will Wade said about the men and about college basketball in general, team with the better players generally win, right? So these are, you're playing against a whole bunch of 5-star recruits, McDonald's All-Americans, and that's what happened. But we fought, right? We fought. We looked like we could play with them for a little while.
Oh yeah. And one of the other interesting things, you were just naming who comes off the bench. Somebody you didn't even name, she played a lot in last year's NCAA tournament run. Her name is Jada El Alfi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Nick, she didn't even get in the game until the second half today, but she was first one off the bench and played a ton of minutes in every game last year. And now, with the addition of somebody else like Sarah Williams and what's the other one, Ordonez or they have, it's amazing that, her minutes are reduced and she's still coming in and making an impact, which it makes it so much tougher for us. Our legs start getting a little weary, and they have fresh legs of people that could play, and they come in and they play that amazing defense. And it's no wonder
they don't recruit, they reload, right? with Sarah Williams, they lose Paige Beckers, arguably the number one player in the country, WNBA Rookie of the Year. I think she's better than Caitlin Clark. I know I'm going to get crushed for saying that, but I think she's better than Caitlin Clark. And yet they just keep going. I think they played 4 ranked teams this year, and they beat all of them. They're undefeated, like we said. They have a 31 in the midst of a 31 game winning streak. Extremely well coached team. And the place, what was the attendance today?
15,495.
Right. That I don't think we drew that for a men's game, right? No. We don't hold that.
No, but even or how many games in Walsh will it take us to get to that?
I know. I think the attendance at our last home game, and look, we've been enjoying nice crowds for the women. I'm not saying, but it was like around 1,000. So yeah.
But our capacity is it much more than 1,200? I don't think so. That would be what, 12, 13, 14 games or something like that for us to get.
To even. There was talk about when they come this year to play that game, and they should down the road to play. But then the fear is if you do that, it's going to be the majority of UConn fans. I don't know about that. We have a lot of really good supporters, and a lot of really good people care about this team. Just talking about us for a little while. I love this team. Coach has been saying he has 7 starters, and what I've seen lately on the play of Jacala Kraft, Coach, you have 8 starters. 22 minutes today. She had 6 points, 3 for 5 from the field. I like her leadership out there. The Rosa girl, Natalie Hall Rosa, gave 11 minutes today. 5 points. She played really well the last game. Messiah is one of his starters. And his said she didn't start today, but in his rotation. So I think this team is deep. I think this team is balanced. I think we're gonna do well. Our next game's at Providence. I don't know. What do you think about the season so far and where we're headed, Frank?
Well, Princeton, I don't know if you noticed, they snuck into the top 25.
Yeah, they're a good squad. They're a very good team.
Yeah, we were right there with them. I sure wish they had that game back, maybe a couple others, NC State, Columbia. But I think they're on the right track. Yeah, we are. The announcers mentioned it a bunch of times, and I think that's their goal. get in there, finish in second place in the Big East. We got another crack at Villanova, and maybe we'll meet them in the Big East tournament. Hopefully, we get there to the Big East final. And the more we go against UConn, maybe the longer we last. Maybe get three.
So here's the thing with that. You have UConn 6-0 in the conference. Unless lightning strikes somewhere, I mean, they'll have another 18, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So, but then after that, Villanova's undefeated right now in the conference. Villanova's 5-0, and they beat us. So our two conference wins are against the top two teams in the conference. Our two conference losses to UConn and Villanova. So UConn 6-0 sits atop the Big East. Villanova's 5-0, and then after that, it's Seton Hall 4-2, St. John's 3-2. And Marquette 3-2, Creighton 2-3, Providence 1-3, Georgetown 1-3, Butler 1-3, Xavier 1-4, and DePaul sitting at the bottom 0-5, which is a down year for DePaul. They had a good run for a while. So I mean, theoretically, we have a chance. Okay, UConn at home, let's call it a loss. We want to win, but let's call UConn at home a loss. We theoretically, right, can win every other game.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And if they could finish strong like that, then I'll be really pleased with the season, and that sort of makes up for some of those games that didn't go their way in the beginning of the year.
So at the beginning of the year, when we were doing our projections on how many possible wins we were going to have, I think we were all around 23 and 25 in that frame. I still could see that with the schedule in the Big East that we have, and the way we've been playing. I think the key, and you touched on it, you don't want to finish fourth. You want to finish second or third because you want to try to make the finals against UConn. Right. And then, like you said, hard. I don't care who it is. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. And once you make the finals, anything could happen. Right. They've never lost the finals since they came back, but who knows? Right. Things happen. Players get hurt. Flu hit. Like, right?
Yeah.
You never know. Right. So, yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts on today's game?
No, I think, let's see. Is that Christina with the text down there?
Yeah, yes. Jake is here. So we'll get Jake in a minute.
Okay. But yeah, no, as for my thoughts, I was very pleased for about 13 minutes of the game. I don't want to say I was ultra disappointed in everything in between, but what do you expect against UConn? So the longer we can hang with them, the better. And as I said, it was the first 8 minutes. Hopefully, we could go toe to toe with them until halftime when we're at Walsh.
And I have been having a blast watching this team all year. I love their character. I love their hustle. I mean, we haven't talked about Savannah yet. Savannah played 34 minutes today, had 11 points. Savannah's all over the place. She's diving for loose balls. She's just putting her body in peril. And with a smile on her face. Yeah. Always with a smile on her face. One of the nicest kids you'll ever meet. We had her on this show in the summertime. Mm-hmm. Just a pleasure. And you could say the same thing. You could go down the line. Same thing, about Jada. I love. We have a freshman, Zahara Bishop. I think she's going to be really good. I think for Zahara Bishop, going into that environment today and playing against that level of talent will only make her better.
Exactly.
Right? It'll only make them better. Absolutely. And yeah. So again, tough loss. Not a tough loss. I'm not even going to say disappointing. We all kind of figured this. 84-48. But we have someone who's actually at the game doing media. And you want to introduce him, Frank?
Yeah, sure. This is one of my son's roommates at University of Connecticut, and his name is Jake. Jake has press credentials, and he, I believe, has a blog up there for the men's and women's team. Jake, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Yes.
You want
I'm
to
in
put
the
your
car.
picture? If you want to put your picture on, you can.
He's
Because
driving.
All right.
I'm sure you're better
I'll
looking than
tilt
the
my
two of
camera. I'm in the
us. So.
passenger seat.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Jake.
Hi.
Happy New Year, Jake.
Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Talk a little bit about the press conference.
Yeah, I'll start with this. I have not seen a team come to Connecticut, but over just play UConn the way that Seton Hall did today since the second half of the Michigan game. And if you guys weren't watching that, UConn went up by 25 in the first half against Michigan. Michigan came all the way back, and UConn held them off, won by, I think, 3 points. That was like right on Thanksgiving. No one else has come close to really playing with UConn, contending in any level. But for the first, 10 to 15 minutes of the game, Seton Hall looked like they were beating UConn up. And yes, there were some unforced errors, with some of the turnovers with Seton Hall. Yeah, on the bench. Some of the turnover, the 10-second violations, the 5-second violations. But at the end of the day, I think Seton Hall played a very tough, physical game against the best team in the country.
Were you surprised? I know Frank had said that going in. I know Frank had said that you said going in that they had us scouted and they were going to try to stop Savannah and Mariana. Was that the scouting report on us? It's interesting to see what the other teams think about us.
I think everyone wants to go and stop those top three scores, and fortunately for UConn, one of them was out today. I don't know what the injury was to Eads, but at the end of the day, if you want to stop Seton Hall, one, you have to hit your shots because that's they're one of the best defenses not only in the East but in the country. I think they were top 20 in adjusted efficiency coming into the day. But luckily, UConn caught a break with Eads being out. But the game plan is shutting down one or two of the top scorers, kind of isolating one of those three, letting them get their points, kind of like what UConn's done with Silas Swords from Michigan, and then with Wright from Iowa. They got theirs, but they kind of isolated everyone else. So the game plan going in was shutting down two of those three scores. Luckily, one of them is out, so they just shut down, for the most part, the other two.
Jada has been banged up with an ankle and playing through it. But what the announcers on TV said today, that she was a little under weather, so maybe the flu or something. So we went up there without our starting point guard. Shaylin Pinckney came off the bench, who was a starter, but who is really versatile. But she, did a lot of started a point today, and she had 3 assists, 2 points, 23 minutes. But what was the theme of the press conference? What did Gino have to say?
He was a little bit upset about the turnovers because
really?
they had 5 in the first quarter, I think 10 in the first half. UConn had 10 turnovers in the first half. He was upset because New Year's Eve when they went to Providence, they had a season high 21 turnovers, and he was livid after that. And he was expecting better today. And Seton Hall's defense, that's kind of what they specialize in. If my scouting report is correct, they're a physical, gritty team, and he was upset with the turnovers. I think he liked the amount of 3-pointers that they got up. I know Seton Hall allowed just about 25 attempts a game. They got 30 shots off from deep. UConn did. He liked the 3-pointers. Said that some shots just don't fall because you're playing a good defense. But he liked the flow of the offense aside from the turnovers and the defense. He said you just got to keep working. He didn't really comment anything past that.
Who you were there? We were watching it on TV. And when you think of UConn this year, you think of AZ Fudd. Probably one of the better, if not the best player in the country. How do you think she played today? And do you think Seton Hall, she shot 6 or 16? Did we do a good job? Seton Hall do a good job in mitigating her a little bit?
Yeah. So everyone always talks about AZ's quest for a 50-50-100 season, which has only been done once in basketball history by I think it was Tony Snell on the Hawks. So that's like a huge thing.
Right.
What'd you shoot today? Six for
6
16,
for
and then
16, yeah.
4 for
4
10
for
from
10
three.
from
So
3, yeah.
40% from three. That's good for just about every other player in the country aside from AZ Fudd. And I don't know if you guys heard it on the broadcast, but the entire Seton Hall staff, every single time AZ caught the ball, was screaming double, 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 or trap, trap, trap. So their game plan going in was take away AZ Fudd's three ball, which is almost unstoppable for the most part. And I think they did a good job of it today. She got a few open looks that she just missed, but a lot of her shots were contested, and that's something that has not been seen from most of UConn's opponents. At least they kind of just lay down and let UConn get those open looks. Seton Hall did not do that today.
They have, I mean, that is a good game plan, trying to double her up, but UConn has so many weapons. It's amazing. It's just a matter of time before somebody else, whether it's Heckle, Shade, so many others could just bury that three. Strong.
Yep.
It's really impressive watching them. And that defense, I was telling Nick before you came on, I mean, that defense that UConn played was just suffocating. And they're taller, they're quicker. It's really tough. But I'm really happy with Seton Hall's effort. And I could see Gino being upset with the amount of turnovers. And I know you mentioned he was upset with it at Providence, but they were without KK Arnold completely that game, right?
Yep. She broke her nose. Personally, I don't think that she should have played today. She looked a little swollen, but she was out there and she had, I think, 5 assists and 5 steals. So
Yeah,
if she's good, she's good. But her eye was definitely swollen.
Oof. Yeah, definitely a tough girl. So where did they give you your seats? When you're at the People's Bank Center, People's United Center?
Yeah, I'm so in Gamble, I'm in the second bowl. So I think it's like section 206 or something. But
Okay.
when I'm in Hartford, I'm courtside, so I'm right behind the hoop.
Wow.
I was in the third row today. Usually I'm in the fourth, so I guess it's kind of a New Year's present for me.
Nice.
How is Jake? Let me ask you this, because you've been covering this squad all year. How is Gino integrating the new players? Because you got a team that won the national championship. They lose their best player, number one player, arguably number one player in the nation, WNBA Rookie of the Year, and it's like you don't recruit, you reload. How is the adjustment? Obviously, the record says the adjustment's been great, but how has it been, and how has Gino been handling it and talking about it?
Well, the story of the offseason was the two transfers that they brought in, Kaylee Heckle and Sarah Williams.
Right.
But I think the story of the actual season has been the emergence of Blanca Quinones, the freshman from Ecuador. She has just been a stick of dynamite on the court. She flies up and down the court. She dives for every loose ball. She can shoot the three ball. I know she didn't shoot that well today. 0 for 1. She only got one shot up from three, but against Providence, she hit a few threes. She was diving for loose balls on the baseline, up 60 at the end of the game. Like it's the small things like that make her kind of that third option, at least offensively. And then when you take KK Arnold out of the game, who's arguably the team's best defender, Blanca comes in and just keeps it at the same level. But she's just sensational on both sides of the ball.
And he's not big on playing freshmen, right? Let's be honest.
I mean, not necessarily. Obviously, Sarah Strong last year is an exception because it's Sarah Strong.
Right.
But traditionally, he takes on the slow development. That's kind of what you're seeing with Ali Zabel, the sophomore wing. She had, I think she was 4 for 6 from three today, which is just sensational. But he definitely kind of eases those freshmen in. But when he gets one that he really likes, he's not afraid to play them.
I mean, Frank, Blanca's stats, she's averaging 10.5 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. But here's the big one, shooting 56% from the field as a freshman, coming, from Ecuador. Where did he recruit her out of? Was she playing in the States last year?
No, she was playing overseas, so she's been playing professional basketball for a number of years, and she is like a freshman, like an actual freshman. So she's been on her own playing overseas for a number of years, and he just poached her, and no one else really saw her. And the Big East preseason freshman of the year was her teammate, Khalees Fisher. Everyone's starting to see why a case could be made for Blanca to be the freshman of the year in the Big East now.
No, she's been phenomenal, and with Sarah Williams too. Now, did those guys? Did they take away some of Alfie's minutes from last year? Because it was funny, she didn't even get into the game until the second half today. And last year, I was telling Nick, she played a lot in each quarter. She would come in off the bench, even in the championship game.
Yep. The addition of Williams, who was an all-world caliber center at Wisconsin for the past 3 seasons. She's come over. She hasn't been spectacular from a scoring perspective, but what she adds from a defensive perspective, especially blocking shots. She got a few nice blocks today. It's kind of separated the minutes for the centers. Ice Brady, who's the third center, has been out for a number of I think nearly the entire season. If you played in the first 2 games, it hasn't played since, dealing with knee inflammation. But Jana is she's developing. It's been a little slow. He compared it to I-95 from New Haven, Greenwich last year when I asked him about it. But she came in today. I think she had 10 and 6, right? Yeah, she had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. It felt like all 3 of those offensive rebounds came on the same possession. She has been good when she gets in. It's just hard to get everyone minutes in that rotation because you have 15 players who can play at a starting caliber level on this team. And then you just have 2 of the best players in America on the starting line. It's hard to take them off the floor.
He has 10 players who are averaging 10 minutes or more, right?
Yep.
And then he has Carolyn, who's averaging almost 10 minutes, 9.7. So to your point, 11 people are getting significant minutes.
Yep. Yeah, he's talked about it a lot, especially after some of these big wins when you kind of empty the bench. It's kind of difficult for him to see everyone doing well on the court because it makes it harder for him to keep people on the bench. When you get Khalees Fisher, the preseason freshman of the year, just slicing apart these defenses, even though she didn't finish at the rim the best today, she is a dynamic athlete and she barely gets run because Heckle and Arnold are just so at the point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I look at I again. You'd mentioned last year, the freshman, and she stepped up, and I thought Sarah Strong, amazing, game in the national championship game. But she's averaging 8.1 rebounds a game. She's your leading rebounder.
Yeah, I think she can be the leading everything if she played all 40 minutes every game. She is just the most complete basketball player that I've ever watched. It's incredible. Gino said that nothing she does ever, takes him by surprise because she is just that player. Where, Paige Beckers last year was probably the best true offensive player I've ever watched.
Right.
Sarah Strong's the most complete player that I've ever watched. Everything that she does is just so smooth, so coordinated, and calculated at the same time. She always is 2 steps ahead of everything.
The thing I loved about Paige, and I love Paige's game, and I would actually, and I've said this before, take Paige over Caitlin Clark. And the reason I say that is Paige makes the players around her better.
Mm-hmm.
She just has that ability.
Yep. Last year in the NCAA tournament, it was on display the most, and she went nuclear. I think she went for a career high in back-to-back games. And it was just sensational to watch.
And yet in the final, she's kind of stepped back a little bit, and I think AZ had an amazing game. So yeah,
and AZ and Sarah took the lead in that championship game, and Paige was celebrating from the bench in the final minutes because it got so out of hand.
How fun is it doing what you're doing at UConn right now, when you have the women's team, and then you go to the men's, do you cover the men's also, or?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be up in stores to cover the men's versus Marquette. But I cover both teams. I cover the women's team for the student newspaper, Daily Campus, and I cover the men's team for On Through Sports. So I have double action. So a lot of the times games are on back-to-back days. But to your question, I mean, it's the basketball cap of the world for a reason. I've covered one loss, in the last 2.5 months. And it was a 4-point loss with 2 starters out for the men against Arizona, who's now the number 1 team in the country. So it is just a standard of winning, and it is on display this year.
And it's not only winning, it's the way you do it. It's kind of, you really have 2 old school coaches.
Yep.
It's who demand from who care. Number one, they care about their players. And once a player sees how you care about him, you could push him a little bit more. Now Danny went to Seton Hall, and we saw Danny play, and Danny had a rough career. He sat out. He took a semester off or a season off, and then came back, and he was in the shadow of his brother and his father. And looking back, and he even said this: he shouldn't have gone to Seton Hall. He probably should have gone away somewhere. How is Danny? And Danny, I love him. Danny's a flawed individual. If you watch any interview, he admits that. Danny is a very complex individual. I love Danny's wife because she says it as it is. When he comes home, I don't put up with any of his nonsense. I could care less. The game, we do not talk basketball in my household, and that's it. But how's Danny at press conferences, and how's Danny at an interview? Because Danny can be a little hot-headed.
Yeah, he isn't hot-headed with us necessarily. I think I can make a montage of clips where he is just hilarious at some of these press conferences. He's on like a 10-game streak of just making everyone in the press room laugh. Like the stupidest comment, and everyone laughs. He has a elite sense of humor. That's what I'll start with. But from a media perspective, he is awesome. You can pick his brain about anything, and he will give you a 5-minute response. He takes the time, and he carves out a reply for every single question, and it's awesome. And Gino does the same thing. He'll answer any question any way he wants.
I'm kind of new to this, so I'm looking forward. Right now, when Seton Hall does our press conferences, we don't bring in the opposing. Did they bring in the opposing coach did Tony come in?
No, he did not. Usually they do it for like ranked games at home. Obviously, they do it at the NCAA tournament, but when it's under UConn's control, it's only when the opposing coach really wants to come in or during a ranked game.
Because we haven't had an opposing coach, but we're gonna have Gino when Gino comes, and I'm a little nervous because does he like snap if it's not a great question? I'm gonna do my not at all.
No. He takes the time and he'll answer your question. Even if he thinks it's a bad question, he does not say it. He will give you a good reply. He is the best, a media man's best friend.
He might be a little critical of his players though at times, right? In some of those press
absolutely, yes. Yeah. Every single press conference, he has something negative to say about the players, but it's constructive at the same time. He offers a solution on how to fix that. I have to coach them better, especially with the turnovers today. Heard that a lot. I have to coach them better. We have to get that down. We have to learn. Right. So he is awesome to deal with.
That team will never get complacent with that man as their coach. Never, ever. I am almost certain that tomorrow morning he's going to have them out early practicing and running and yelling at them and telling them everything they did wrong. And that's what a really good coach does. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, you have anything else?
No, I just want to thank you, Jake, for coming on. Antonio tells me you're doing great and killing it up there. And you certainly sound like it by joining us. And we really appreciate it. And keep up the great work.
Jake, what year are you?
Thank you for that. I'm a sophomore.
Oh wow. So you
Yeah.
must be really loving this. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I have a few more years of this, and I am relishing every single game I get to cover.
Your major's journalism?
Yep.
You're
Are
not
you
coming
looking
down
for
for a
any
January
internships
13th
in the
game, are
summer?
you?
I mean, you're for at UConn, you get the best of both worlds, right? Because you're close enough to New York City for something if you wanted an internship or something in the summer.
Yeah, and I'm pretty close to Boston as well, so it works out. I'm not that far from UConn. I'm about an hour drive, so I'm kind of in the middle of everything. And great opportunity there.
What town are you in?
I'm in North Haven.
North Haven. All right.
Yeah.
No, Antonio's two brothers went to Quinnipiac, as you probably know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are you coming down for the game in a couple weeks, the men, on the
I am.
13th?
Yeah. Is it January 13th? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going there. Yeah.
All right, great, great, great. We'll see you down there.
Can we bring you on? Can we bring you on after the men's game?
Yeah, I would. Yes, absolutely. I am honored to be on here twice.
No, we appreciate it because we get a nice flow, and for the men we get people coming on and off. This is the first time. The last time we did this for the women, we were fortunate enough to have Coach come on from the bus, and he brought Shayla, and it was really really good. And we tried this again today, and thank you. You just really took made this so much better, and we appreciate you coming on. When's the semester start?
January 20th, I believe, is the first day of classes.
And when's the next game that you said you're doing the men tomorrow?
I'm doing the men tomorrow, and then I got women's versus St. John's on Wednesday next week. Yeah.
How's St. John's this year? I'm a little. I haven't put my finger on them yet.
St. John's women?
I haven't figured them out.
Yeah, I think they have one of the only other ranked wins in the conference that isn't a UConn win. They beat Oklahoma State at the start of the season, but I think they dropped a tough one to one of the biggest opponents. But they've been rolling outside of that. I think they're along with Villanova and Seton Hall in that second tier of the Big East.
So you would say Villanova's next right now?
Yes, I would say Villanova and Seton Hall are the top two outside of UConn in the conference. I think it would be a battle between Seton Hall and Villanova for that number 2 spot.
We lost to them there, and they were lights out on the 3. So it's going to be very interesting when they come here, because I was looking at this, and theoretically, besides you guys, we could win, every other game that we have left, and that should and like I was telling Frank, you don't want to come in fourth, right? Because if you come in fourth, you play UConn in the semifinal. You don't want that. If you're going to play UConn, you want to play them in the finals. Creighton's a little bit down this year.
Yeah, they just lost everyone, so it's tough to reload, especially after you had such an amazing core for the last 4 or 5 seasons. They've had some of those starters in, so down, and I think they're still above 500, or maybe 500. So it just speaks to what Flannery's built out in Omaha.
So while we got you on, let me pick your brain about the men's side. Obviously, UConn right now is shaping up as a step above everybody else. Do you think St. John's is next?
I don't know. I know I didn't obviously watch their game today because I was covering the women's UConn game, but they lost to Providence.
Wait. Providence came back?
Yeah, Providence came back and they beat St. John's in MSG. So I don't know.
I think St. John's was up by 7 when I logged on to meet up with Nick. Nick, did you know they lost?
Providence came back.
No, I was prepping. I get tunnel vision when we start to prep for this, and I got 3 screens going, and I'm doing everything Seton Hall UConn. Wow. Let me tell you this, Jake. I think they have maybe the best talent, but it's not meshing. It is not meshing at all.
It just doesn't seem like they have a guy who can, run an offense and take over at the end of the game. Obviously, Zuby is phenomenal. I think he had a near triple-double today. But you need a great guard to win at a high level. And I don't think they have an elite kind of ball-hawking guard.
No, and they got the big man. The big man's playing really well. But I don't know if he's enough to carry that team. And that's a big rivalry for us. We have Creighton tomorrow at home, and that's going to be a tough one. So I don't know. Like Villanova came in and beat us. We have 2 road wins. We're 2-1. Another home game tomorrow. I don't know who second and third is in the Big East right now. I honestly don't know for the men.
I think you kind of. Did Villanova win today against Butler?
They were pulling away. They were up, I think, maybe 10 when I came up to jump on the show. So it was late.
I don't know what the result was, but if they won, I'd say Villanova's the clear.
Villanova's next. Yeah, Villanova just hopped over St. John's. Yeah.
And I think, Seton Hall's up there. Seton Hall men, obviously no one expected this preseason. No one predicted this preseason at all. But, they even, the other night when they came back and they won at Marquette, like Marquette was in control for most of that game. And Seton Hall just kind of strangled them at the end. And just, that's that Shaheen Holloway defense for you. But it looks like Seton Hall is every part a NCAA tournament team if they win the games that they're supposed to.
We were really good defensively last year because that's, like you said, Shaheen Holloway is a defensive first coach. And offensively, we were next to last in the country in points scored a game. And you're not going to win many games with having that. This year, he rebuilt this team, 11 new guys, starting with a point guard, Bud Clark, transferred from Merrimack, and who's playing really well. And our center/power forward, even though he hasn't played much power forward, Stephon Payne. And then we have a kid from Miami, AJ Stanton-McCray, who's our shooter. And then we have a kid from Elon, TJ Simpkins, off the bench. So it's a totally new team. But team's the word. He built this squad, right, Frank? And they're just playing well together. And they're like kind of, I don't want to take this to heart, but they're kind of like Houston on defense. They just like swarm you.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I agree, Nick.
I think.
Jake, you there?
You guys are frozen for me. I cannot hear you guys.
Okay. Just so you know, while you're frozen, Villanova did pull away. They won by 18.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Villanova wound up winning by 18.
Yeah. I lost you guys for a second. I think I hear you guys now. All right.
Yeah, we were just talking about Seton Hall. And what's very interesting is we kind of, and I don't want to, not going to say owned, but have played really well against UConn the last few years at home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we beat,
Butler, they had a few guys, coming into that game against UConn. Okay. Yeah.
He must be in a bad area, Nick, right?
Yeah, he must. Jake's freezing up.
Yeah, I am in a terrible area right now.
All right. Well, Jake, thank you so much for coming on, and we would love to have you on again. Appreciate it, and Happy New Year's, and
Happy
have
New
fun
Year's.
tomorrow at the men's game.
I will. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to speaking to you guys in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later, Jake, and we'll definitely see you on the 13th. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Frankie. Great get. He was. I mean, that was good. He was really good. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
He's top shelf. And my son told me how highly regarded he is up there, and it was definitely great having him on.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, and I'm glad we were able to get into the men's a little bit. Tomorrow's going to be tough for the men.
Absolutely.
I hate saying must wins, but it's a big game. I mean, it's a defining game tomorrow.
It is. It could really solidify Seton Hall being a top 5, maybe even top 4 team in the Big East for now. A loss still has us on that bubble, and we have to still see what's going on. I wouldn't call this one a must. I knew the Marquette game was a must because we had this game following. But we gotta get a win against Creighton. Just Shaw's never won against Creighton, right?
Do you remember the triple overtime game of 2 years ago, the Kadari game?
Of course, I
Oh,
remember. Yeah,
you know what? That was one of the best college basketball games I've ever seen.
yeah.
And probably two of the best college basketball games I've ever seen. That one in West Virginia. I don't know if you remember West Virginia the day after Christmas on CBS when Jeremy went bomb. We were down by like 12 with a minute to go, and then Jeremy just went insane and sent the game into overtime.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fans were started their stupid song, and then they were all walking out, and too bad they all got outside and they couldn't get back in to see overtime. It was great. It was
Yeah.
totally great. So yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow's a big one. You're coming, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look for you down there tomorrow.
Yeah, they're having some fan thing at 10 at American Whiskey. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't
think I'm doing that tomorrow. Actually, I was gonna go take a ride around the corner, show my son where the federal courthouse is. He got summoned for jury duty. And,
federal jury duty.
Yeah,
that's serious.
I know. So I think from February 9th to the 20th, he's kicking and screaming. I'm telling him to relax.
Wait, for grand jury or pettit?
You know what? I didn't even look at the form. That's a good question.
Because grand jury could be a while.
It said 9th to the 20th. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that means he has to be on call each day or he has to be there each day. The information was a little sketchy. And
I mean, federal court, that like could be a mafia case. That could be like Mike the Situation with like that's the real deal. That's the real deal.
Right.
Wow.
Well, the last time I got summoned down there to Newark, I called the day before, like it said to, and fortunately, they didn't need me. But right
for federal,
yeah,
for federal,
yeah. But with what was it? It was in Bergen County right before COVID, the year that Seton Hall had that good year. We had Miles still on the team. I was caught on a case in Bergen County. It lasted about, I don't know, 14 weeks.
Whoa.
And I had to go like once or twice a week. And it was annoying. And my clients, especially the one who I have the lion's share of my work with, he wasn't too happy about it, but there was nothing I could do.
When I worked down there, I had no problem because I would just, instead of going to work, I would just go drive to the same place and go to the next building and sit in a room and watch ESPN all day until they called me. But I've only been on one case, and that was when I'm 65, and I've been several times on jury duty. When I was 19, I was on a case, and never again.
Oh, that long ago? Yeah. So mine, as I said, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, and wow, no, it was. I thought it was never going to end.
I got called. I was in the box for a murder case.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I went sidebar, told the judge I was busy at work. He didn't want to hear it. I finally a death penalty case.
Wow.
I didn't. Yeah, I know. Thank God I did not. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I wasn't a part of it. So yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you had a guess for tomorrow's game? What do you think the score is going to be? You think it's going to be a high-scoring game? You think it'll be a typical score like it was for the Villanova game?
Styles make fights, right? So we're more of an inside team than they are. They're more of a 3-point shooting team. We press, and hopefully we could cause some havoc. But we've been doing a good job getting back and defending the three. Not the Villanova game, but the rest of the season. We've also have been doing a good job of shutting down the other team's best players.
Right.
So hopefully we could do that. But again, and I'm going to get back to this. And Payne has been playing really well. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have Hines, your highly recruited freshman, who has oodles and oodles of potential. Are we ever going to see them on the court? Because I just feel that would make us a better team. Now, again, I'm not at practice every day. I'm not Shane Holloway. He knows, he forgot more basketball than I know. But as a fan, don't you want to see that?
I would like to see it for a little while, see how it goes. I do like the way Rivera is developing, though, and I think he's adding another dimension, something that we could definitely use, and it's nice to see.
Rivera was the one guy that I heard Shaw got a little criticized that he might have been too big of a step up for him, and he's playing well. I mean,
Yes.
Shaw's a good evaluator of talent, and he's also good at making players better and playing them up. And poor Jacob Dar. I haven't seen Jacob Dar. He was getting a lion's share of minutes as a backup four, and Rivera just kind of usurped that from him.
But that's all right. I could see him coming in, and he could do some things when he does come in, and it depends. It depends who's on, who's off. It's great to have that depth. One thing I just wanted to point out, another score of interest. BYU, it looks like they're starting to pull away from Kansas State. They're in Kansas State. They're up 10 with under 4 minutes to go.
Well, that's my thing, because Kansas State went into Creighton and it wasn't close, right? And beat Creighton.
No, they beat him pretty solidly. But as Paul said, and Paul's articles are great, and he put that in today. And they did wind up doing some work in the second half, and ever since then, that's got Creighton on the right track.
So Creighton's an improved team, because in common opponents, we both beaten Marquette, except we won at Kansas State and they lost at home against Kansas State.
Right.
But take it for what it's worth. Teams get better as the year goes on. And, I think hopefully we get better.
Yeah. We just never seem to have luck against this team, Creighton. They've always seemed to have our number. That's what.
And McDermott's been retiring for how many years now? And
well, yeah, I think this is year 2. I don't know how long he intends on doing. I don't know if it was a 2 or 3 year thing where he was going to hand it off to or groom the other guy. But he did a great job there.
I always thought, that he was a good coach because of his son, and he was, because his son was a great college player. His son was probably a better college player than pro player, but McDermott has been able to continue it without his son. Because in the early years, they kind of were dominating the Big East for a little while.
Yeah, it's amazing. They've come a long way. Remember what year was that when we played them in the NCAA tournament? I forget if it was the first or second round game. You remember that? I think we had Jerry Walker on the team back then.
Yeah. Well, for a while there, we were in the NCAA tournament like every year. It got to the point where one year we probably shouldn't have been in, but because we had such a good reputation the last year, they put us in.
That was the year, I think. Yeah, I think Leahy came through at the buzzer and at the Garden against Syracuse, and then that got us an extra game. I think that's what got Seton Hall into the tournament. But then we got beat up by Michigan State in the first round, right?
And that's John Leahy may be the last time, and I've gone over this, maybe you said Lavelle Sanders maybe, but someone coming off the bench, and Sanders was a starter though, to hit Simpkins is kind of like that, but someone who just comes off the bench and is a three-point shooter. Right. Seems like every team has it consistently except us.
Yeah, right. We don't have it consistently. I remember we talked about this one other time. And my favorite was how we have Nick Katsikas back in the late.
I remember Nick Katsikas. He
would just come off right. He would just fire 1 or 2 threes right at the end of each half, and that was pretty much it. Right at the end of the first half of the game. That was
Nick and then Remus. I saw Remus Kaukanis. I actually saw him at the. I talked to him at the arena. He was a pretty good 3-point shooter, but wasn't a starter. He was a starter. Just that player who can just come off the bench 10, 15 minutes a game, 4 threes, hits 3 of them, 6 threes, hits 3 of them. We haven't had that in a very long time.
Yeah, and here's an interesting one. I mean, remember Adrian Griffin was a great 3-point shooter his senior year, but his freshman year when he was coming off the bench, he wasn't taking any threes.
No.
He would just go play. He would play in a big man's position but he wasn't the biggest guy out there. But I remember seeing him in there amongst the trees as a freshman, and that was a solid year for Seton Hall. Was that
Adrian Griffin was kind of like a Elijah Fisher. It's not a good comparison, but an undersized 4.
right?
And Adrian came in at the end. Poor Adrian. He came in at the end of PJ's. He was from Kansas or Kansas?
He was from Kansas.
From Kansas. He was in at the end of PJ's run.
Yes, and I think he played 3 years with PJ and then 1 with Blaney, or 2 with Blaney.
Maybe more, maybe two with Blaney. I know him and Danny played a year with Blaney together when they were the 2 best players on Blaney's squad.
Yeah, and then he was playing more of a guard position. That's when everything changed. Or that's what I was saying. I mean, he would pretty much be a small forward or a guard, and he would be hitting a lot of threes.
Blaney changed everything up that Seton Hall did, totally. The one good thing about Blaney is Blaney recruited Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah, but I mean, Blaney wasn't blessed with we that's when we started losing all our big guys. We didn't have any of the big trees that we had for such a long time. When you think back to Mark Bryant, even go back, Andre McLeod, Mark Bryant, Ramon Ramos, then you'd have
Anthony Avent, France Volsey, Glenn Mosley, Deshaun Scott, DeJuan Scott. Yeah.
What did we have when Blaney? We had Darryl Mims. He was a big guy, but he wasn't one of the biggest guys.
And Darryl wasn't that mobile.
And then Roger Ingram, he was a similar type of player.
And then we had a bunch of big guys that never panned out, right? Jackie Kaba.
Right.
And remember Charlie Manga?
Of course.
Charles Manga. I had a better jump shot than Charles Manga. No disrespect. I'm sure I think we got Samuel, but then Samuel Dallenberg.
Well, yeah, and that was
Samuel panned out.
That was Tommy Amaker that got him in, right?
Yeah, Amaker got them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then remember Jim Dickinson?
Oh yeah.
He was a center for a while.
That was a PJ guy. He was from Rhode Island.
And do you remember Chris Rozanka? He might have been a little bit before you.
Okay, yeah.
We had a twin towers of Chris Rozanka and Mike Busher, and yeah, they were both a little vertically challenged. Bill Hathaway. Bill Hathaway goes to tennis. He goes to golf. We're going to see him at the U.S. Open. He does everything except watch Seton Hall Pirate basketball. Anyway, he's watching Seton Hall Prep beat up on St. Mary's. Sterling Gibbs is the head coach of Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah.
88, he's turning that program. There was a little bit of a commotion when Sterling got that job, but he seems to be turning it around over at the Prep.
Yeah, no, he took them pretty deep last year. I was at that game when their season ended, when they were playing Bergen Catholic, and I ran into Anthony Avent that day.
His son, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to all his son's games. So I'll probably head over there to see some of his games again this year.
Yeah, a lot of people were giving them whatever, Seton Hall fans, about him not coming here. You got to do what's best, what you think is best. And there's more things to consider nowadays. It's a financial and everything else. And yeah, you can't look.
Nick,
what you want to do is stay friendly and keep the good relationship, right?
Exactly.
Because you want, if there's ever a bounce back possibility, you want to be in the mix. So yeah, all these people stuff, they have no clue.
No, especially with a team like ours, all of a sudden, anybody who, you take a kid with a promising career, looking like he could go ahead and play somewhere. I could see why you might want to be hesitant going to a team that was 7-25, but now all of a sudden you have a team that did some damage, and now you only need, and you get a good core returning from a good team like this. All of a sudden, I could see people saying, maybe I'd fit in nicely with that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill just said that they're beating St. Mary's. Is that Bobby's school?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Is that Bill? Is that Bobby's school? Is Bobby first? Wait a minute. I'm so confused. Bobby was going to be at the casino, but he was going to go. Did Bobby go to the UConn game? He chimed in before. So, Bobby, if you're there, where are you? Are you with Bill at Essex County College? Bill and Felicia are at Essex County College covering the tournament for Bill's outlet. We all get along. We all help each other. Bobby usually covers St. Mary's. But
Right.
is it St. Mary's of Rutherford? How many?
Bobby's in Elijah, but I think it's St. Mary's of. I thought it was actually Lyndhurst. But
yeah, no. Bill said yes.
Yeah, but there's not two of them, but it's right there in that area, either Rutherford or Lyndhurst.
Wow. So Bill's rubbing it in on Bobby. Bill.
And it's Elijah too, right?
And that's how Bobby got Elijah as his protege over at Bobby was doing some media work at
right, but all three of them might be together.
I don't know. You're at Newark Tech, okay. But Bill, if Bobby's there, did Columbia beat my school? Columbia played St. Mary's in the final of some tournament. I don't know and Columbia is probably in the same league as the Prep, so I don't know. But we still don't know where Bobby is. I know he posted before, but Bill's posting in and out. All right, Bill, now that we totally lost our train of thought on Seton Hall basketball. All right, good job, Frank. This was fun.
Yeah. No, it was great.
This was a lot of fun. I don't know if anyone's out there. Anyone else wants to make any comments? We're promised that we'd always try to keep it around the hour mark. We're in an hour 1, so that's perfect. Have a good night. Frank, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts for a 36-point loss. I think it was a great day. I saw a lot of positives out there for the ladies, and heard a lot of interesting stuff on the show, especially with our guest. It was great hearing it from the UConn perspective, and he did seem like he was impressed with the way Seton Hall was able to play defense. So I liked hearing it.
And Gino was grumpy after the press conference. So it was, Gino was not happy with this team in a 36-point win, but
that means we did something right.
Yeah, we did something right. All right. My final thoughts are, this is so much fun. I'm sure our friend in UConn's having a lot of fun, but I'm having a lot of fun with Seton Hall this season. Game tomorrow, I'll see you over at the Rock. Christina, thank you. You do a great job producing. Christina from Milburn, feel better. And good night, everybody. Tomorrow after the Creighton game, we're going to try to do 2:45 maybe. It's a little harder for home games to get on this right away, and plus people are in their car. But yeah, and you know what's funny? Someone said, "Oh, you're doing your show. You're going to interfere with WSOU." WSOU's whole line today was literally 10 minutes. We're having we're two different things. It was like it's not a problem. It's fine. And I was talking to the kid from WSOU Morales. We text back and forth. So we're all one, even those other guys from the Vibe. So everything's fine. Everybody gets along. We're all on the same team, and we even get along with someone from UConn. So go Pirates, everyone. Good night. Take care. God bless everyone. Have a good night. Stay safe. Thank you.
All right.